this is Zoe from The Whisper Tree, and in this video I'd like to talk to you about our ability to self-heal ourselves. We all have this ability, and when this comes up for me, comes into my consciousness, I know that we're probably tapping into a little bit of our Chiron, which is a minor planet that orbits between Saturn and Uranus. And this planet was discovered, this minor planet was discovered in 1977 and prophesied by the Native American Indians that when the consciousness of Chiron came to Earth, we would, or humanity would, start to change the way they viewed healing and start to recognize the healing power of crystals and energy, vibrations of nature and cosmic forces. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about what Chiron represents, what it means, where, you know, why is it so important and significant to us, especially at this time. So, you know, we all have a core wounding, what's called a core wound. This is our Chiron core wounding. And it's a wounding that's so ingrained in us and has been with us since birth, and probably before that we don't see it for what it is. It's just so much part of a personality, or maybe we see aspects of it, but as I said, it's so ingrained, it runs through all aspects of our lives. So it's very difficult to see clearly sometimes our core wounding. We all have one, and the core wounding is dictated at our time of birth. And when the Chiron transits through the planets, it depends on which planet it's transiting through, the time of your birth, as to which Chiron wounding you have. And each Chiron wounding has a different aspect to it. We all feel aspects of each other's Chiron, but we definitely feel very much so our own Chiron wounding. And as we clear more of this wounding, clear more through it, we have our gifts, you know, and talents that come through more. We shift in consciousness, so it's all good. Although it can be quite painful when we have to kind of release these deep feelings around this wounding. So as Chiron transits through and makes its way through the planet, it will drive 4 major cycles for everybody in everyone's life. Everyone has 4 major cycles, and the first one is between the age of about 4 and 24. And during this time, we're kind of connecting more to our sense of self, our sense of identity. The second one, there's no real time scale, so I guess it can happen at any time for anyone. And this is when we start to discover more of our life's path, because we all have a destiny and purpose. So we're discovering more of that. The third cycle is when we start to release more painful emotions. We kind of go on a bit of a journey of self-discovery. We could probably all think of times like that we were doing that. And these kind of painful emotions are just simply coming up to the surface to clear. And the fourth one, the last one, which is interesting, happens for everyone between the ages of 50 and 51. So it's really precise. And obviously it ties in, you immediately think, midlife crisis. And this is because we're starting to question our life, our purpose, you know, what we're doing here, who we are. And this is because Chiron has actually returned to the exact position and sign of your birth. And so this is why we're kind of reviewing our life, and it kind of drives us, the energies around it drives us to do that. So it's an interesting process. It's really interesting on Chiron, and its planetary influences really does impact humanity and the consciousness of humanity in a huge way, especially in terms of healing, self-healing, things like that. So when we're being impacted more by Chiron, or we're going through a bit of a, you know, we're pulling up a bit more of our Chiron wounding, if we're open to it, we probably start to want to discover other kind of healing modalities, more natural therapies, if we are pulling up some physical stuff. And I think humanity is starting to awaken more to the power of these alternative therapies, because I think if you think about modern medicine, you know, they've made amazing advances using amazing technology and can do amazing things. But there is an element of curing and fixing symptoms rather looking at the underlying root cause of the issue. So I think when we pull up physical symptoms, which is kind of all linked with the Chiron, it's because they're coming up to clear. That's how I see it. If we have a symptom, it comes up to clear. And when we have physical symptoms, depending on where they are in the body, there is always an emotional and a negative thought pattern behind that symptom. This is what creates it, and then you have this physical manifestation of the symptoms. So it's always really fascinating to look at that. If you look at someone like Louise Hay, is an American lady who's now dead, unfortunately, but she self-healed of cancer, and she was very much into the metaphysical, what we call the metaphysical aspects behind our diseases and illnesses and conditions. So as I said, all the thought patterns and emotions that go behind the illness. And this is very much our Chiron wounding, you know, that we have these emotions, these deep suppressed emotions that kind of cause physical ailments, and then also changes our behavior and the way we do things and our beliefs. And as I said, it's ingrained in so many aspects of our lives that it's really difficult to see clearly within that sometimes. So when I am pulling up a physical symptom or a condition or something, at the moment I've got quite a nasty eye infection in my right eye, at the back of the eye, and my sight's been quite affected by it, impacted by it, and it put up a lot of fear for me. But when I feel myself going through those processes and you know, I'm feeling triggered and I'm putting up a lot of fear around my physicality, my physical body, what I do to clear the fears, I just bring in love. Just feel love for that part of the body, feel love for that condition. You know, I love this eye infection, so I'm saying that to myself, and I really bring love through and really feel that love for it. And this allows me to release more of that negative emotion. And then I bring in this feeling into my body really clearly, really strongly, that I'm really healthy and the condition has healed itself. I already feel it as though it's healed itself and resolved itself, and do that. And I'm doing this every time I think, you know, I have the fear that triggers off, and then I go through this process every time. And then lastly, I just kind of feel gratitude for any improvements that I see and changes and shifts that I see. That's so important as well. And I do this kind of what I call creative visualization every morning when I wake up early. I go through that process as well. And then, as I said, during the day and evenings, if I feel that I'm pulling up fear, I'll do that, sort of go through that step-by-step process. And it really helps. And again, it's touching into that Chiron wounding, that Chiron consciousness that we can absolutely self-heal. And you know, we just kind of got to know how and use our intent and our energy and our creative visualization processes. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to share, like, or comment, as I'm sure there'll be many people that could really benefit from this message. And thank you so much for listening.